Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's actually got 3 different classes.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Doesn't do your confidence a lot of good when they lower the mic before you start. I've got to be honest.
Louder.
So, can you hear me in the cheap seats? Louder. Louder.
Oh, it's grown.
Hello?
Grown.
Oh, hello. Has everybody got a box? We ready?
It's too high now. Try that.
Can you hear me now?
Get closer to it.
How about now? I knew we'd get there in the end. Well, bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, and bienvenue to the celebration. Celebration. Thank you. Between the marriage of Heather and Scott. For those who don't know me, I'm Gary, the father of the bride. Hi, Gary. Thank you. Thank you. And I've got the dubious honour of being... Oh, I've just said that, I'm the father of the bride. Start again. First, I'd like to say thank you to a couple of Teresas, for without whom today it wouldn't have been possible. So, congratulations, well done. And part of my speech as the father of the bride should have been to welcome people that made a long and arduous journey to get here. But that's all of us. So, and then the people I was going to mention, Richard's already done it, so I'll skip that bit.
Well done, us.
But it's a lovely setting, isn't it? Stunning. It really is lovely. This is the second time that I've had the pleasure of giving a daughter away in marriage. And I have to say that this time it's a real pleasure. I've been waiting 33 years for this moment. Well, you've all met her, haven't you? Thank God for Scott. I'm not sure if he's a saint or a brick short of a full load. A most stubborn and cantankerous child you've never met. She learned to speak at quite an early age. Her first word was no, and it remained her favourite word for the next 4 years. She managed to terrorise the rest of the household during these years, and mealtime was particularly testing, as she refused to eat anything but tinned spaghetti. That's true. Even now, I can't walk past a tin of spaghetti in Sainsbury's without feeling a cold shiver up and down my spine. She was a complete tomboy, and to get her to wear a dress was almost an impossibility. We just about managed it at her Holy Communion. It didn't stop her kicking the priest, though. And as soon as we got home, the dress was off and the shorts were back on. There have been many trials and tribulations over the years, and it's been a long and arduous journey being her father. I've seen her be sick, wet herself, and cry herself to sleep. But enough about her 18th birthday. I'm sure you'll agree with me, she has many traits. She can be stubborn, opinionated, quick to anger, particularly when hungry. And argumentative. Yes, you are. In spite of all this, a more loyal, trustworthy, kind, and selfless person you could not wish to meet. I am fortunate that only am I proud to say that she is my daughter. She is also one of my best friends. Aww. And I think the world of her. Oh, got to be emotional then. Scott, despite what I said earlier, you are a lucky man. You'll understand that in time. I've no doubt that Scott would be a good husband, but as a son-in-law, we'll have to wait and see. Will he pop round to see me every week, or will I have to continue to wash the car and mow the lawn myself? Any good father of the bride speech should end with some wise words about marriage. And I have some specifically for my new son-in-law. Scott, it's only when you reach my age that you realise what it means to go home at night to a woman who gives you respect, tenderness and affection. If this should happen to you, you've gone to the wrong house. Ladies and gentlemen, can you please raise your glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Isaacs?
Do I need an introduction or just go for it?
I think you can introduce yourself, really.
Hang a minute.
The funeral bell. Here we are.
There you go.
Ready?
Right.
I didn't know you're coming.
Just get dinner on.
Just end it there, Scott. You're not going to get any better than that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Only goes on for about an hour. We'll be all right.
Give him the
Good
signal,
gag,
Nick.
good gag.
I think the joke's over, Nick. I think the joke's over.
Yeah, really going for it.
Someone does not want to hear you speak.
Someone's pissed off you're not having the ceremony in the church. Right, bastards. We'll get them, Pedro.
Something to tell the kids. Yeah.
Hope he's catching this on the film.
Tapes run out.
You got clapped in.
Timing is everything. Okay, good friends, family, the flock, and Zach. Bienvenue et merci à tous pour votre présence à cette journée très spéciale. Anyone who speaks good French won't have a clue what I just said. Welcome to everybody and thank you so much for attending this very special day. Thank you. On behalf of Heather and I, we feel truly blessed that you've been able to join us so far away from home. Hands up anyone missing their kids right now. No. I'd like to thank Gary for his wonderful toast and for providing Heather's hand in marriage. Ryan's missing his kids. What, right now? We'll do a Skype call later, Ryan. You're a good dad. I'd like to thank Gary and Hilary for welcoming me into the family, for their generosity and for continually supporting Heather and I with everything we've done and with everything we've organised with this wedding. Thank you very much to you both. I'd also like to thank them for all the kindness and friendship they've shown towards me, but more importantly, for their patience every time I've lost my keys, wallet, phone, and held up proceedings every time we go out. Yeah. I'd also like to say a huge thank you to Teresa and Mark for their support, their friendship. You're yet to see it and to try it, but I know both Teresa and Mark have worked really, really hard while they've been here. They've been on a working holiday putting together the wedding cake, so you will get to see that, and it'll be amazing, I'm absolutely sure. So Teresa and Mark, amazing. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Teresa and Mark for some wonderful nights at the Stag and also up in Louth. We've had some great times together and long may that continue. Unfortunately, I can't remember the first time I met Teresa. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning and it was after a pretty bladdered night with the flock. I do remember going back to Heather's house, dropping her off, and Teresa coming down, and what I do remember is Teresa was really keen to join us for a drink at 4 in the morning. And that's never changed. This is our second wedding. I wasn't expecting a cheer, but that's nice. Yeah, okay. This is our second wedding. The first wedding, I think I stood up in front of the guests we had and got heckled pretty much about everything I said. I didn't expect myself to ever get married, if I'm honest. And I know a lot of my friends. I know my friends never thought I'd ever get married. None of my family thought I'd ever get married, so I feel truly blessed to be here in this position at the moment. The happiness this day brings, and how fortunate I am to have such an amazing wife. I feel truly lucky to have ever met Heather, let alone have her hand in marriage. We have a wonderful friendship with one another. We spend so much time together. We really enjoy everything we do. Well, I do. I think that's right, isn't it? I've definitely found my soulmate. We get on amazingly well. We do some amazing things. I've got so much respect for Heather. We've done a lot together. I met Heather, as someone said earlier, dark and stormy night. Leverstock Green Football Club training over at Berkhamsted Astro. Don't think she really stood out as a footballer to me at that first session. But she certainly shined as we got her onto the football pitch. She was a great player.
Saved your bacon.
Yeah. One memory I have of Heather, and when I realised she was really the girl for me, was when we were driving from a pretty boozy weekend in Brighton up to Essex to play a football match. Oh, no. And we set off quite late. We were up against it time-wise, and I had a really nice car at that point. I was really proud of it, just bought it. Leather seats. And anyway, Heather, we got stuck in traffic on the M25. Oh. Heather decided that she was absolutely busting for a pee and couldn't wait any longer. So she had to climb over into the back seats, and yeah, that's where it happened. In a bottle, the back of my new car. I think we've been together about a week.
And that was cemented.
It was in a Costa Cup.
Costa Cup. Sorry, it was in a Costa Cup. Yeah, we're in here. We've chosen France because Heather and I have done some amazing things in France together. We've had so many lovely holidays here. When I met Heather, she'd never really cycled a road bike before, and I managed to talk her into buying a road bike, coming cycling with me. And since then, I've managed to get her to cycle up the top of every mountain pretty much in the Alps, the Pyrenees, Italy, France. I really take my hat off to Hev, because to do that is really some feat. Not only is she great at football, she loves cycling, really got into it. She's been running, done half marathons. There's no end to what Heather can put her mind to, and she really is a special person. Okay, so I think we all agree, and I've been picking up on feedback yesterday and today about how wonderful a setting this is and how wonderful an occasion it is. But an event like this doesn't come together without meticulous planning. Dolph's laughing because he knows how much work and energy I've put into today. To be honest with you, Heather has done everything. From day one, Heather has organised everything that's happened, and again, her organisation skills are absolutely awesome. So Heather, well done. I'd also like to thank my mum. You're looking gorgeous today, Mum. Lovely outfit. My mum and Alan have driven up from sunny Spain. They brought the sunshine with them. Thank you again for your support and friendship. Oh, yeah. Well done, yeah, well done, Mum. I'd like to thank our wonderful readers. Mr. Dan Eaton for keeping it together and delivery of The Owl and the Pussycat. Only just. And also Michelle for her lovely reading as well. Absolutely wonderful. I'd also like to thank Rachel. An amazing song, got everyone going. Absolutely wonderful singing. Thank you. A huge thank you to the Archdeacon. Where is the Archdeacon? I can't see. Oh, Archdeacon, you've upped your game. Amazing. What a ceremony that was. What a ceremony that was. He's probably got some business cards with him if anyone else is thinking about a wedding. I'd also like to thank Nick and the team here at Castelnau. They have been amazing. Thank you, guys. I think everyone will join me in saying just about how amazing all of the bridesmaids look, and I'd like to thank them and raise a toast to the bridesmaids. So please join me to the bridesmaids.
Well done, girls.
Okay, nearly there. I just want to thank also the best men.
We haven't done anything.
Well, you stole my line.
Sorry. Thank God for that.
Up until this point, they've been pretty useless. They really haven't had much to do, and when I've asked them to do stuff, they've refused to do it or just haven't done it. So, it's kind of what you get from my brother and Christopher, but I love them both. We had a wonderful stag do. The sisters in the house here, a wonderful time away. I will never forget our time in Cologne. Wonderful memories. Thank you all very, very much. Yeah, well done.
Well done.
We're going to have a wonderful dinner. I don't know if everybody knows the running order. We're going to have a wonderful dinner now, and then we're going to have the best men tear me apart. In the words of Edith Piaf, very famous French lady, every damn thing you do in your life, you have to pay for. And that's about to come real when these guys get up to speak. But again, in the words of Edith Piaf, je ne regrette rien. Let's eat.
Scott, get over here. Oh, thanks.
It's actually on.
Oh, I cut out. It's like Skype, isn't it?
Now they're switching tables.
Yeah. What's going on over there? What's going on?
Interesting.
Rob's already happened. He's just come over.
He went, I've got the word Scott. Oh, you're
Still on, yeah.
Should have had the word we.
What? Back to the house. Say that again.
Hello.
You're someone's asleep on my bed.
Shawnee.
Someone's asleep on my bed.
Shawnee. Shawnee, where are you? He's asleep on your
Is
bed.
it Shawnee?
Bastard. Huh? Louder.
Are we ready? I know I am. Thanks for putting this right at the end of the evening, Scott, so I could have 18 months and 7 hours of terror. That's absolutely marvellous.
You're welcome.
There, well,
Bass.
turn the bass down. Sorry, that's my voice, you pipsqueak. Hey! Look at the air balloons. I organised that. Look at that. On the other side it says, Scott, you wanker. Love you, Heather. Bad luck.
It's the other one, full of hot air. Yeah, thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. We will be here all day. I mean, just what an unbelievable place, and filled with extraordinary people, and a testament to two such beautiful, well, one such beautiful person. It's no surprise the work that Heather put in is just unbelievable, brilliant, and Scott, your single email was pivotal to the success of this whole thing.
Absolutely critical.
Critical. I'm going to get back on script now. I've known Scott a very long time. With truth, I remember almost nothing about those early years. What remain are shards of surrealist sculptures, the detritus left behind by the inebriated museum cleaner who'd knocked the masterpiece on the floor. There are fragments, glimpses of police sirens and rivers of alcohol, all to a jungle techno soundtrack, punctuated by the guttural, primal screams of boyfriends enraged when they came back from the toilet. They'd only been gone for a minute, it's all he needed. That is what largely populates my memories of much of the 80s and 90s. Result, he's thinking. I may get through this reputation relatively intact. Fortunately, my associate, better man, and relative intact, that's my best joke, by the way, Luke can fill some of the gaps, summoning all the brotherly love and restraint which Scott deserves.
Oh, indeed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Luke, and I'm the younger brother of the groom. Who would have thought we'd be here today to witness the day Scotty Isaacs got married? Bloody hell. In 1973, a young mother was blessed with the arrival of a beautiful baby boy. A mass of black hair and a twinkle in the eye, his mother knew one day he would be destined for great things. As the years passed, it was clear this little boy had a natural talent for sport. Whether athletics, football, rugby or tennis, a sporting career was a certainty. With a steely determination and burning desire to succeed, the young man achieved his boyhood dream. What a wonderful player Ryan Giggs is. Anyway, sorry. At the same time, in the shitty market town of Aylesbury, a small Cockney woman also gave birth to yet another womanising sporting great. Again, from a young age, sport would also be an obsession for this wee lad. In 1978, young Scott's prayers were answered when he was awarded the younger brother he craved for. Fair to say, we didn't see eye to eye in those early years. Him a Liverpool fan, me Man U, one Irish, one a Jew. He did, however, teach me some good life skills, such as running and shoplifting. And well, mainly just shoplifting. We would hit AG Fry's on the way home from school and fill our pockets with penny sweets. Our midnight stash under the bed was in danger of overflowing when one afternoon the master got sloppy. After a decent raid, instead of moving away from the shop, Scotty started to scoff his bounty right outside the door. The police were called, and I will never forget the I'm fucked look on his face as the police car pulled away. Good times, good times. In those early days, we shared a room and bunk beds, but it was soon clear this arrangement was not going to work, and the bed was quickly sawn in half. Scotty was hitting the Kevin and Perry stage in life, and everything was so unfair. I remember when he discovered that Biactol actually gave you more spots than when you started. Some of the fashion and hairstyles at this time were, to be honest, pretty horrific. He had perms, highlights, and spiky efforts. None of your standards Peter's jobs. Scotty has always been a lover of fashion. I can recall him going to Camden Market and coming home with a bing bag of choice items for £10. Oh, how he laughed as the floppy-haired plonker walked out the house in his second-hand hippie shit. Flowery baggy sleeve tops and a junkie second-hand jeans. A super Madonna fan with the posters on the bedroom wall, and if I recall, a Duran Duran poster as well. His room was a mixture of nasty aromas, smelly sports kit, used tissues, and joss sticks. Jean-Michel Jarre playing over and over and over. Longest song in the bloody world. Being the younger brother, it was all about winding Scotty up and trying to avoid the beatings. From boxing to wrestling and deadlegging, yes, I was great practice for all his skills. And should, in theory, get some credit for his achievements. And I believe Dolph also played a key role in his sporting career.
Thank you, Luke.
We should leave it there, really. I got another 45 minutes of this shit.
And that's going quickly.
I'm not going to do the follow-up on that. Promise you. Lee? No. Sorry. It's a spit roast joke. I said I don't really remember anything of our youth. Who said that? That was a death joke, not a memory joke. Yeah. I do remember how we met. As unlikely as it now seems, it was on the football pitch, aged 11 or 12. He was small and nippy. I was a man-sized right back with a beard, approximately as I stand before you, give or take 30 kilos. I think that's what he was basing my shirt on for the wedding. Thanks, Scotty. Lovely. Brilliant. He, Scott, was an attacker with the hairy little legs of a mature chimpanzee and the body of a toddler. Pause for love. But it was not the mismatch you might imagine. What I lacked in skill, I made up for in pace, momentum, optimism, and clumsiness. I'd side the little bugger down and it'd hop straight back up. Face fixed in a John Kennedy grimace, like I'd just spilt his pint of Foster's, only to find my outstretched hand. A genuine smile of concern. Sorry, mate, you're all right. Bringing a little love to accidental violence. The epic struggle of brute force versus purposeful tenacity was an even one. And though our friendship began with me inadvertently bundling him off the ball, kicking the shit out of his ankles and treading on his little hobbit toes, our relationship was instantly furnished with a soulful respect which would last to this day. And now I think Luke has some more words on that.
Indeed.
Beautiful.
Scotty has always been the ultimate competitive sportsman. He loves breaking records. Nothing surprises me anymore. He is the reigning inflatable sumo champ of the John Kennedy in Aylesbury. He had to work hard for that title after a bruising second round with the Scouse barmaid. Scott, being the gentleman, was a bit nervous about being in the ring with a lady, but all of that went out of the window when, as they touched gloves, she punched him square in the face. The final was another test, as the guy was built and had tattoos all over him. "What do you reckon, bro?" he asked. "Run at him," I said. "Knock him over." Scotty ran full pelt at him and bounced clean off. The guy didn't even move. "You're on your own," I said. Talking of breaking records, Scotty loves his music, a keen bedroom DJ, house music mainly, but he loves to dance to it even more. Oh, he loves a dance. With all the rhythm of Theresa May. Stick around for a couple of hours and you'll see what I mean. Weddings are his speciality.
Love that one.
Theresa May. You're brilliant. Topical, yeah. Now there are, of course... Oh, shall I let you get it out of your system? Auntie Christine, what's going on over there? More wine. There are, of course, many tales of our heroic and illicit endeavours down the years, for the sake of levity and due to the fact that much of our lives rest in a hazy dream-like existence which resonate with a golden thud upon the dark, damp walls of our minds. I'll briefly touch upon just one more.
Eloquent.
If you could all just leave us, I think I've pulled.
Sean's in your bed.
I'd like to make it clear. I'm sure that Scott is neither proud nor otherwise of his behaviour. It was all part of the rich alchemical soup which nourished us on our way to where we are now. I should also add that I've decided in a strange and slightly risky choice to add some impressions into this. So I'm doing some mimicry. I've shown no talent over the last 45 years for impressions, so it truly could go tits up. I've tried it out on my wife, and it's really been pathetic up until now. Yeah. Thanks for your backup. It's really pathetic. So, picture this. Oxford Street, early 1990s. It's somewhere close to midnight, and we're searching for the house party of a certain Mr. Richard Wobbly Webley. You're in there, Mikey. You get a mention in this one. It should also be stated that we are, as usual, completely and utterly lost, and rather more than tiddly. I wish I could temper that by saying Scott was sober, the designated driver, but those were more simple times. Scott's vehicle, a classic bright orange Volkswagen Beetle, is ambling down the road on the wrong side. Sitting in the car are myself, Big Bad Biker Bolfie, Mikey the Viking, and Scott the Totty Slotter Isaacs. I do believe there was one more anonymous person in that car. I won't go into the nature of her presence. That's a story for another day, but we can assume that he was living up to his name. Certainly me and Mikey weren't getting any, that's for sure. Slaughter! The stage is set. In order to avoid detection, as we are naturally in possession of driving beer, a variety of other accoutrements, and we'd been warming up for the house party over the previous couple of days. Mikey the Viking, seatbelt flapping in his wind, is reaching forth with one oversized arm from the back to repeatedly honk the horn of the bright orange Volkswagen Beetle as we meandered down the wrong side of the street. You remember that, Mikey? It was a cunning plan. A beautiful piece of reverse psychology when I think about it. I mean, really, what self-respecting policeman could possibly believe that anyone could be so bloody stupid as to honk the horn whilst plastered driving the wrong way down a central London street in a bright orange Volkswagen Beetle? Did I mention that? Genius. Unfortunately, the inner city police were not quite as clever, and they didn't see the obvious camouflage that we were putting on. As the flash of the blue lights reflect off the white faux leather interior, youthful exuberance meets life-changing reality in beautiful tableau. Scott takes a deep breath. Instantly facing his responsibility, he opens the door and subtly staggers out to meet his impending doom. The Viking, sensing danger, is crouching down in the back, feverishly gobbling what I can only imagine to be OXO cubes and painkillers.
Standard fare.
Standard fare. Like a Cheech and Chong movie, really. Unbelievable. I, the trusty front seat companion, recognize my responsibility. I'm in the shotgun seat. I'm compelled to assist our hero as he faces down his nemesis. I make a decision. You're not going down alone, Spartacus. I can smooth talk us out of this little pickle. Scott, in the thick of negotiations as to whether a breathalyzer is really necessary. No, officer, not a drop has passed mine nor any of the passengers' lips within my bright orange Volkswagen Beetle. Don't laugh, you said, right? I imagine he said. I fling open the door. The rescue party is on its way, Slaughter. In the midst of his perfectly crafted protests of innocence, the clinking, clanking crash of an empty wine bottle displaced from my side door pocket chimes out. You remember, you got it now, Mikey. Now you got it. As it echoes off the shop windows of Boots the Chemist and on down to Tottenham Court Road, it rings the death knell of what little doubt remains in the policeman's mind. All hope evaporates with the last sniff of cheap red wine on the London air. And so, in a final flourish of Kismet's pen, the illustrious fellowship is carted off for processing to the Bow Street Nick. It was a relatively open and shut case. Scott was scientifically proven to be shit-faced. And would regretfully go on to lose his license. All that that wasn't really funny. It was a terrible thing. All that remained was for us to get a lift, legally and safely vacating that historical nick. The bright orange Volkswagen Beetle had been impounded, but we still had a party to get to. In the interview room, a not unfriendly officer inquires, "Who should we call then?" "The number is at the back of my address book, which you took from me earlier."
Brilliant, boy. Sounds just like him.
It sounds just like him, doesn't it? It's a bit deep. I'll get it right. Replies the Chassandizers. Name? It's right at the back of the book. As me, Viking, anonymous, barely legal sex slave, sat nervously fixed. In fixed fake sobriety in the waiting room. Although on reflection, the Viking did seem to be having some kind of allergic reaction to the OXO cubes. The instruction was relayed from Scott to the front desk. "They need picking up. Call Mr. Wobbly," said the nasal cockney. And so they did. Perhaps these coppers weren't so smart after all. Mr. Wobbly arrived, fresh-faced from his house party at midnight, and flawlessly interacted with the entire police station, giving assurance he'd get us home safely. Sorry, I haven't quite got you right, Rich. Thanks, mate, yeah. Once outside and onto Mr. Wobbly's car, we thanked our brother in arms profusely. "Of course, no problem," he said, with his jolly affability. "Let's get the fuck out of here, though, man. I'm absolutely wankered."
The Cardinal.
The Cardinal, yeah. In truth, the famed Bow Street Nick had delivered us into the hands of someone even less suitable to drive. But Scott was never going to be held back by the flaws of his friends, the limitations of his hometown, or the absence of any detectable common sense. We all have so much filth on the Slaughter. But it's not about the seedy tales. It's about his thirst for life and his blind optimism to do it all now. That's over to you, brother.
Yeah. I've got no more impressions now. We peaked.
Brilliant stuff.
The opportunity arose for the young Isaacs to spread his wings, and my word, did he take it. He left home at a young age and started his mission to spread nothing but enthusiasm and positivity on the world. He became a bit like Uncle Travelling Matt from Fraggle Rock. Every now and again, we would receive a postcard from a faraway land telling us he was still alive. Australia was first, where I believe he still holds the record for the largest seagull caught with a fishing rod. Anyone that knows Scotty well knows he has the ability to charm his way out of the tightest of corners. Call it luck, call it bullshit, he has it in abundance. But it's mainly bullshit. I had the pleasure of travelling for a bit with my brother in New Zealand and got to see the jammy bastard in action. Selling books door to door. I have witnessed Scott entering a funeral parlour with books in hand. Every door, Luke, every door was the response. And sure enough, he sold 2 Mickey Mouse playbooks and a cookbook. We were once running out of fuel, and once again, books in hand, he waltzed into the garage. Surely not. Yeah, 1 Mickey Mouse playbook and a Playtown activity book sold, we can fill the car up. While Scott had the advantage of the vehicle, I had to push a shopping trolley around the city trying to sell shit. One particular day, it was absolutely pouring down, and I was given the following positive words from my mentor. The good thing about that, Luke, is you can only get so wet. What a load of rubbish. We would move house on the regular, and Scott would insist on taking his skis. Never seen him ski, but strap him on the roof, bro, just in case. Academically, young Isaacs would excel, but common sense was definitely a non-starter. Living together as adults, I quickly realised this bloke is pretty clueless. From using any household appliance to general life skills, these had either passed him by or he just didn't give a shit. Upon entering the living room with a pizza wheel in hand, he asked me, "What's wrong with the can opener, bro?"
Yeah. You're ready, you're right.
Is that page 2?
We're still going.
Minute 23 or 48. Really, how far he's come since our misbegotten youth. He is now an inspirer. Is that Auntie Christine again? Bloody hell, Auntie Christine. What's going on? We're going to have problems, me and you. I take it as flirtation.
Oh,
Phil. I've gone too far. I do apologise, Phil.
How far he's come from our misbegotten youth. He is now an inspirer of youth, coached at all he meets. He even got my ample arse onto a saddle for an epic journey, one of the most epic of my life. He's a proud cross-species parent to the beloved Huxley. That's a bit weird, yeah. And he's evolved into a trusty, solid monogamist. Promise you, you'll be right there, honestly. He's worked his way up through the ranks of the education system with his charismatic charm and single-mindedness. He's a godlike marathon runner, and that's a hell of a lot further for his hairy little legs. He's a certified Iron Man with 7% body fat. He's literally transforming into iron. If he gets any smaller and denser, I'll have to assume that he's preparing for the robot apocalypse where Heather has merged with Skynet. She is now Cyborg Empress, and Scotty is accompanying her as her tiny iron robot dildo. Anyway, moving on. Who was enjoying that over there? Thank you, Steve.
A couple of red wine doing that.
He is a remarkable individual with drive and competition to his core. It's always been there, a quiet determination not to be beaten down. And yet, with all his fine attributes, he still manages to retain his generosity of spirit and humility. That's quite a trick.
Yeah, that's good. You can take that. No punchline, Scott.
You can have that.
It's all right. Yeah. No.
That's
no,
it.
It gets worse before it gets better again. Not much. And of course, in the end, he always gets the girl. It's not about Heather yet. Don't get too carried away.
We ain't got all night, Dolph.
Sun's still there.
A few days ago, as my wife, Zuza, the beautiful Zuza, was trying on some outfits for today, I lost count after the 12. Each one more beautiful than the next.
No, really. Oh, come on. It was rough and smooth.
Yeah. My son, Mark, who's grudgingly not here, I should qualify that by Mr. Wobbly and Scott came to Cologne, not a couple of years ago, I guess. Obviously, it was very messy. Mr. Wobbly ended up falling onto a whole table of drinks. It was about $4,000 worth. We got barred from the place. Then he ruined the plant pots up to my flat. Anyway, we got home. The next day we were feeling shady, and my son was sitting there talking to his mother, whispering in her ear. And he said, "Do you think it'll be all right?" And he said, because he loves Harry Potter, right? And he hasn't got a godfather. And he said, "Would you two," sorry, I feel a bit emotional actually. "Would you two be my godfathers?" Like Sirius Black. And I can't think of any two more magical men to be a godfather. And back to the tale. Mark sends his really pissed off congratulations. He's furious. Back to Zuza and her outfits. Okay, sorry, Zuza. As she put on a slightly racier number, she's going through the whole thing. Mark announced, "You cannot wear that," he said in German. Time stood still. Brave, I thought. And bubbling up through my growing resignation and outfit apathy, I had felt she looked quite beautiful. "When you wear that, you'll end up spending the night with Scotty." Yeah, absolutely. How I laughed. Not again, I thought. But tonight, and at least up until the day Heather sees through all the bullshit, you will spend your best times with her. You are an amazing and beautiful lady, Heather. And she gets you, Scotty. She really gets you. You manage to morph around each other's eccentricities and find space to make each other better. Thanks, Mikey. Thanks, Mike.
Stop, Mark.
That's all mine, Mikey. It's all mine. You use it. You use it. Haven't heard that from a woman for a while. Actually, I have. Scott. Scott is one of the cornerstones of my life. We're bound together, as are most of us here, by loosely fitting tales of stupidity and sacrifice. We represent a group of friends who would always be there, without the practicality of forethought or self-interest. Our love echoes through time, through space, with the inevitability of that empty bottle clanking down the Oxford Street. Though set in motion with all good intention, it made things much, much worse. But it's in the trying, it's within the intent that we shape our judgment. It's the intent which shapes those bombs which last a lifetime.
Yeah.
Bring it on, brother.
For me, I couldn't have asked for a better brother. He has always looked. Who wrote this shit? For me, I couldn't have asked for a better brother. He has always looked out for me, mostly from afar. But I know he's always there to provide some positive bullshit angle on life. My children love their Uncle Scott. Whether that is for his awesome presence or his lovable sidekick Huxley remains to be seen. I've never seen Scott so happy and content as he has been since he met Heather. And they complement each other so well. Heather, my heart bleeds for you. And you must be one special lady to put up with this geriatric retard. You have my utmost respect and deepest sympathy. Scott, we never thought we would see the day, but we are all truly happy and chuffed for you, as you really do deserve it. Now, if you would all stand and join me, from all of your friends and family, we wish you all the luck, happiness, health and wealth in the world. Cheers.
Cheers! Cheers!
Now take your bongos.
Oh my god, that's so funny. My so funny. Oh, yeah, my face hurts.
Well done, well done. Absolutely.
That was